The search. When Josh got home to his apartment that night, Dev was tinkering with a computer on the dining room table. Replacing the hard drive, Dev explained. As Dev worked, Josh told him about the conversation he had with his parents and brother about finding a mentor. My boss suggested I ask Eric, the young guy who shared my cubicle, to be my mentor. I don't mind learning stuff from him, but I'd love to find an older person with more extensive experience as a mentor. Someone who could help me figure out if sales is even the right career for me. Any suggestions? Dev took a moment to think. Most of my contacts are tech geeks our age, so I don't think they would be much help. But I do have an uncle who's been in sales for years. He's quite successful. Want me to introduce you? Sounds like a good start, said Josh. 2 days later, Josh was sitting in a restaurant with Dev's uncle Ron, a sharply dressed man in his 50s. Ron certainly looked to be the picture of success. Dev tells me you are trying to decide if sales is right for you. Let me be the first one to tell you, if you want to make money, stick with sales. It's the only job where the sky's the limit. The rest of these jobs, they give you a salary and then you've got to beg at the end of the year for bonus. Beg. My salary is under my control. It just depends on how hard I want to work and the number of sales I want to make. Period. I was hoping that would be the case with me, said Josh, but I'm finding it easier said than done. Ron pointed a finger in Josh's face. Tenacity is what you need. It doesn't always come easy, so you gotta stick with it and put in the hours. What's getting in the way of you putting all your time and energy into your job? Are you living and breathing sales? Well, I do have a life outside of work. I spend time being a big brother to a kid named Ricky. I also like to stay in shape, so I go hiking or play basketball with Dev and our friends on the weekends. It's good to keep balance in my life, right? Forget balance. You've got to remember sales is where the action is. The company depends on you. Once you have uh, once you are making big money, then you can get some balance in your life. The conversation went downhill from there. Dev's uncle was all about sales, sales, and sales, and he had no qualms about it. Whatever Josh said, Ron discounted it. It quickly became clear to Josh that Dev's uncle, however successful, was not someone he wanted to spend much time with, let alone him as a mentor. Over the next several weeks, Josh discovered it wasn't that easy to find a mentor. He talked to several people who came recommended by friends, relatives, and coworkers. One of them were quite right. Matched values, personality, work experience, and scheduling all played a part. Still, he remained hopeful. The breakthrough came one day when he dropped by the Big Brothers Big Sisters headquarters to pick up tickets for a game he was taking Ricky to. One of the counselors passed him in the lobby and asked, "How is it going, Josh?" Josh couldn't help but let it all out. My little brother, great. My job, not so great. Not so much. What's up? Let's just say I'm not thriving. In fact, I have been looking for a mentor, someone who can help me get my career to the next level. You should talk to Linda Partridge. She knows everybody, the man said without missing a beat. Isn't she the chapter president of Big Brothers and Big Sisters? I don't want to bother her with my problems. The man smiled. You obviously don't know Linda. She lives to serve people. Come on, let's walk over and see if she is in her office. Moments later, Josh was sitting in front of Linda's desk. How can I help you? She asked. I need career direction. I am in sales right now, but I am not sure that's where I should stay. I have been looking for a mentor, but finding one is easier said than done. What have you learned during your search so far? I have learned that I don't want in a mentor just as much as what I do want. Sorry, let me read that again. Mm-hmm. I have learned what I don't want in a mentor just as much as what I do want. I want a person who isn't just successful, but who also cares about family and friends. I'd like someone who has qualities I value, like honesty, generosity, and humor. Linda nodded. It's not always easy, but finding someone who matches your values and personality type is important. It's for sure. That's for sure. I met with one prospective mentor who was super focused on work to the exclusion of everything else. Another guy I met with had no sense of humor and was completely focused on himself. He wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. It's not always easy, but just a second. It's not always easy, but finding someone who matches your values and personality type is important. Sounds like you need someone who's an excellent listener and who has the ability to focus on others. Does anyone come to mind? Not at all, not at the moment. Let me think about it, though. I'll bet I can come up with a good candidate or two. Later that week, at the grocery store, Linda ran into her old college friend, Deanne Bertman. What a treat it is to see you, said Linda. I'm afraid my schedule is so busy these days that the only time I manage to cross paths with you is at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters annual fundraiser, said Deanne, shaking her head. Don't worry, Deanne. I'm just grateful that you and Mark have always been such generous supporters. Diane, sorry, the name is Diane. Diane told Linda about her indecision around retiring. My trusted advisor, Warren, suggested that I back off some of my focus on business and find a young person to mentor. It's interesting you mentioned that, said Linda. The other day, I was talking to one of our big brothers about his need for a mentor to get out of the slump he is in. You two might be a perfect match. He's in sales and isn't sure that that's where he would spend his career. And you have been in sales, but aren't sure that's where you should spend the rest of your life. What kind of person is he? He's terrific. He is one of the best big brothers we have. He has a wonderful, caring heart. The kids just love him. Sounds promising. Tell you what, why don't I set up a lunch for you two and you can go from there? I'm up for it if he is, said Diane. 1 minute insights, pause, reflect, and learn. There are many different types of mentoring partnerships: peer-to-peer, adult to adolescent, apprentice to master, cross-generational, and mentoring with a company are a few. What you look for in a mentor or mentee will depend on the type of mentoring relationship you are seeking. Thinking about the key qualities you are looking for in a mentor or mentee before you begin the search. What values and personality characteristics are important to you? Be courteous to prospective mentors. If the two of you don't click, promptly communicate your decision and thank them for their time. Prospective mentee, be brave. When you ask someone to mentor you, the worst that can happen is you break even. If the person says no, you didn't have a mentor before anyway. So that's that chapter. We'll discuss that before we move forward. And
so what page are you on now? What's the next page number?
So we finished page 45 And the
Yeah.
next chapter is the first meeting, which starts at 46. And I'm going to make sure that I send all of those after the meeting ends. And we have 6 minutes for this session, and then we can jump back online using the same link.
Oh, I see. So yeah, I've got that. The first meeting. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we want to discuss that.
Yeah. Anything that popped out, anything you're taking from their key learnings?
Yeah, well, one thing I think that hit me straight away was, and I've been thinking about this myself, just in different circumstances, when you have had more experience in an area, and like, for example, in the school, actually, because this is an open and honest conversation, and confidential, no doubt. But sometimes when you're talking to some of the people like the WELL team, they've only just come in and started working in this industry, and they haven't had as much experience. And I've found what he was saying. I want someone who's got more extensive experience, just not someone who's on the WELL team that's just come to work there. Do you know what I mean?
No, not really. If you could.
Well, I just know some people that come and work. So sometimes you bring up the WELL team and you say, "Oh, this isn't a criticism," and this is completely confidential, isn't it? What we're talking
No,
about.
we are recording this, and this is gonna go on YouTube for the other.
Oh
members.
gosh! Well, I won't say any more. No. So I'm just saying, when you go to talk to someone, I want to talk to someone that's got way more experience than me. He's been where I am and knows how to get me to the next place. Now, I don't know if that's a wrong belief or that's a right belief, but it's a belief I have.
Yeah. So you're saying that where you are at and where you want to go, what's the belief about that? I think that is the right.
Because so I'm here and I want to go here, and there's
Yes.
a lot of people that are here that have never been here.
Yeah.
I want to be talking to someone here that can lead me to that place.
Of course.
And sometimes when you go to talk to someone, they say, "I can help you," but they haven't had that experience. They might know the questions to ask, but they haven't. I don't think they've got the fullness of what that other person has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. So as Remy says, or even Matt, we can mentor to that extent where we have reached. So we can mentor.
Yes.
Say, if I am a chapter ahead, I can mentor the person who's just a chapter behind me. So I can mentor that bit.
Yeah.
Definitely. At the same time, I also do believe, say, if I get a coach who is probably not at the same place where I want to be, or maybe they are at the same place as I am, they will ask me questions. Which will help me clarify few next steps for me, so that I can reach that mentor who would be able to take me there. So it's like how this guy, I keep forgetting the name. Is
it Nick or someone? What is his name?
The boy who's looking for Josh. So how Josh was looking for a mentor, and that mentor didn't match his needs, but he knew from that conversation what I want instead, what I don't want, right? He got more clarification. So when you have a coach or a mentor who's not hasn't traveled far from where you are at the moment, still having that conversation would help you clarify a lot of things, open up a lot of things. That's what I believe. Yeah. And then you get, maybe the next time I'm going to ask this or not this, or more clarity, basically. Yeah. I think no conversation is wasted. I think you get something out of it, some sort of clarity, even though it might not be where I want it to be, but it creates the path to go there.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is that all from yeah? Anything else we want to
Well,
discuss?
just the other thing that I thought really spoke to me was about the values and personality, how critical that is on both levels. So values are not negotiable to me. So you've got
Yes.
to have the same values, because how can you work with someone if you've got? But personality, that was a bit of a new concept, because I know myself, if I'm with someone that's just rah, 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 I can't concentrate. I can't even listen
Exactly.
to what they're saying.
Yeah.
So yes, and I started thinking that was probably something wrong with me, and am I making a judgment? But I think no, that's probably quite normal
Yeah.
to have.
It's if we think about the E-DISC personality types, it's
Yeah,
very hard for S and C personality types to work with D and I, because they are very, very loud, very direct, very prompt, very, taking action very swift, swift, swift. Whereas
yeah,
S and C, they need time. And if they work together, one of like the S and C would feel being pushed, whereas
yeah.
D and I would be like, why are they so slow, so lazy? So
Mhm.
definitely personality types do matter. We have less than a minute. Do we want to jump back on and bring it to an end, or how would you like to do
What's
it?
that?
We have
Um,